Hello. How is everybody? Hi, Chris. Um, yeah. So tonight we're going to be making. It's going to be Tuscan chicken. Um, I haven't made it in a little bit. My son's been asking for it, but it's just been too hot, and it's kind of creamy, heavy. So it's not really a summertime kind of dish, but we're going to make it tonight. Yeah, we got all our stuff, and guess we should get to it. Need to get my apron, and then yeah, we'll have we'll have some chicken. Um, the recipe comes from this is a I don't know if you can see how mangled up this piece of paper is from Salt and Lavender. So if you have the internet, you can search it and find it. It's just Tuscan chicken. It's actually pretty easy to make. So let me get my apron on so we can get started. I don't know how well that mic picks up. I'm not wearing it, but we shall see, right? Well, yep. Again. No banana, right? Oh, goodness. These straps get twisted. I got my apron on. I feel like Mr. Rogers. It's a Mr. Rogers moment. You gotta kind of get in the zone, right? Okay. So hopefully the sound is okay. Any problems? All good. Sound okay. Remember, I cannot see Twitch or YouTube, so if an ad comes up, if someone can warn me, then I'll stop yapping. But yeah, Tuscan chicken. The recipe is pretty straightforward. Well, hello. How are you? Um, it requires sounded good. 8 ounces of uncooked pasta, which is usually about a package. It recommends they used linguine. My son likes the shells, so that's what we'll be using them. 2 chicken breasts cut into bite-sized pieces. Normally, I get chicken breasts and cut them up into like not quite an inch cube, but I got some on sale that were already pre-cut, so I went with those today. A tablespoon of olive oil, a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, a quarter teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a quarter teaspoon of smoked paprika, salt and pepper to taste, 1/2 cup of chicken broth or dry white wine. We'll be using the broth tonight. A half teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I would not recommend stronger mustards, like no, I wouldn't use like Coleman's or anything like that. I really recommend you using the Dijon mustard. 1 teaspoon of flour, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, a quarter cup of sun-dried tomatoes, um, a cup of heavy whipping cream, a cup of spinach, loosely packed, some basil, and Parmesan to taste. I don't have any basil, so we're not going to do that part. My son's not a big fan of the spinach or the sun-dried tomatoes, but I do have some because I like some. So when it comes time to serve, it'll be a little thin on the ground, but they'll be enough for me, and that's so the first thing we're going to do is because I don't have um, broth, I use bouillon. So I'm going to make my bouillon first. So we will have that ready for, see, we said 400, it's about 450 milliliters of broth. And for me, it's about half of one of those cubes. These are the Nor cubes that I generally like to use. I guess if you had the pre-made broth, you could use that too. But I like this one. It also means that it takes up less space in my cupboard because I do have limited spaces. And I'm not going to answer that one, Chris. Mm-mm-mm. I'm going to put that back here to cook. basically you boil it, but not for very long, and then you just kind of stir it until it dissolves. Doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be. Right. It says we're going to do the pasta. I'm going to set that up, but I'm not going to cook it yet because I'm not ready for it, and it'll cook a lot. It'll be done before the rest of it's done if I start it now. So I will hold off. But setting up a space here. I'm going to use, it says use a skillet. I'm going to use this pan because it's bigger and I feel more confident about not making a huge mess. We're going to put in the olive oil. You're going to put the chicken with all of the seasonings on it, and you're going to stir it up, and you're going to cook it for about 4 minutes, just until the outside is no longer pink. You don't want to cook it fully. If you cook it till it's brown, it's going to be too tough. This is not the only cooking we're going to do with this, so don't panic if it's not right. It will be right, I promise. So I also grabbed some of these garlic dough balls because it just sounds quite nice. I am using cups because that's what we have, but this is about, how big is this? 400 grams of chicken breast. So about 2 chicken breasts cut into bits. That is, that way it cooks evenly without being too tough on the outside. And I'm thinking I'm going to get the rest of this stuff out so I don't forget it. There we go. Yes, chicken. Some chicken. Mm-mm-mm. I don't necessarily use the full however much of the thing I put aside before the meat. Oh, just got some garlic dough balls. It just stuff I'll pop into the oven towards the ends because I like bread. I like bread. It shows, right? All the bread belongs to me. Um, so for the olive oil, I just put enough in to kind of make sure everything is not going to burn to the bottom. You could probably put a little more in, but it's about so. It's just not quite done like the same dough you would see pizza made with, except it's made with a ball. And sometimes you can get them; they'll be plain, but they've been kind of pre-coated in kind of a garlic butter. So when you pop them in, they'll be all garlicky and salty when you pull out. Hey, Hillary. These garlic and parsley in them. So we shall see how that works. So before I do all that, what I usually do to make sure I get a good mix on my seasoning and make sure it kind of doesn't just clump is I will mix it all in a little bowl and then pop it on the top. I'm not gonna put my meat in there just yet. So all my seasonings, right? So it called for garlic powder, Italian seasoning, smoked paprika, and salt and pepper to taste. So we've got, I like my smoked garlic powder, right? Italian seasoning is just your Italian blend, right? This one's got oregano, basil, red bell pepper, marjoram, thyme, rosemary, sage, and parsley. Then it needs a little bit of smoked paprika and salt and pepper to taste. And it wants a quarter teaspoon of all of those. And that's like a little, like 1.2 milliliters. So it's a very, very tiny measurement. That's it's not going to melt. We almost didn't get to do stuff. I was running the dishwasher earlier, and then I came in. There was like water all over the floor. Look at that clean kitchen. That looks. Paprika? It's just a powder. Hey, you know, I've lived in some places and I've been around a bit. And garlic. I'm gonna go a little heavy on the garlic because I like garlic. And I'm gonna stir all that up in here so it's kind of except when it goes onto my chicken, it's not just like one chicken gets all of the garlic and one chicken gets all of the pepper because that wouldn't be very nice. And how is that going back here? I hate how um, this kitchen is. I have to like stand on my tiptoes just to see. Okay, so that is. I'm going to turn the heat off and I'm going to put my water pan back there that I will use for my pasta in a moment. I'm going to move that there to cool. So, yeah, we had water all over the floor. I've never heard of bell pepper powder either. And when this has always been paprika to me. I've never called it bell pepper paprika, but apparently that's a thing. So it's been a learning process. But essentially, this is ground up and dried that stuff. So does that mean you've never had deviled eggs? Hey Cole, are deviled eggs a thing in Germany? I love deviled eggs. They don't love me back, but I love deviled eggs. I have a mild egg allergy. And every now and then I'm feeling like a particular glutton for punishment, and I will have some egg. But it's all that goes into that's not even on yet, but that all goes into there. I'm going to turn the heat on. And I need a spoon. So I'm going to kind of shake all that up into bits, and I'm just going to cover it with my seasoning. I'm going to stir it up a little more to kind of disperse it. Sorry for the noise. Actually, this mic is really good about noise canceling. So we're going to turn that on for a few minutes. Put that there. See, deviled eggs are made from boiled eggs, and you cut them in half longwise, and then you scoop out the yolk and you mix it with some stuff, and then you kind of put it back on top, and always on top goes the paprika. And it's typically, I think, they're popular on Easter, and I think people who do big turnouts for Thanksgiving in the States will also do deviled eggs. But yeah, I discovered a thing when we were there last. Celery. When Americans say celery, we mean the tall, long top part. And in Germans, when you say celery, you mean the root part. And Americans don't tend to use the root part for anything. I'm slowing down. This is going to take a few minutes, right? So this is started. So the broth is ready. I need that to cook for a few minutes. We're at the add the chicken, cook for 4 minutes until the outside is no longer pink. Soup vegetable. If we're going to put celery in soup, we just cut it up in small pieces. I don't like celery. Who likes celery? It's stringy. It's. I've never liked celery. It's not. I mean, if it's in soup and that someone else puts in front of me, I will probably consume it. But I do not seek out celery for any reason ever. Never, never. Um, so we're going to cook the chicken, and then we're going to remove the chicken, but we're going to leave everything in the pan. So it's going to be a little olive oil, a little bit of seasoning in the bottom. And then we're going to add the broth, the mustard, the flour, the lemon juice to the pan, and then we're going to take a little whisk and whisk it all together for just a moment. And then we're going to add the sun-dried tomatoes and the cream, and we're going to cook all that together. And then we're going to put the chicken back in, and we're going to cook for a few minutes until the chicken is cooked. And then we're going to put a little spinach on top, and then we're going to serve it because it's going to be amazing. See, in the States, we don't use I didn't even occur to me that the root part was an edible thing until I moved to Germany. I remember having this long conversation with my cousin trying to explain celery, and she's like, no, it's this round thing. I'm like, no, it's this long stalk thing. And so we had to go get a dictionary out and look up celery because it's used differently in Germany versus the States. I think I remember my first mother-in-law would make these veggie trays for holidays, and she would always cut up celery in them and have the celery sticks. Oh, like give me the deviled eggs, please. Don't make. And she put radish out too. And like, who eats radish? Who actually eats that besides old people? Celery and radish. I think she didn't like me. I know she didn't like me, but it's neither here nor there. This stove is stupidly slow. Probably. Probably. I don't recall seeing it, but I also didn't look super hard for it because I don't like celery. So it would make sense that you could get it there, but again, yeah. Okay, there it goes. It's finally starting to get hot. Set away because we don't need it. When I start the pasta, I'm going to pop these garlic balls into the oven because toasty balls are nice. I like garlic bread. I like dough balls. So it is what it is. He likes radishes. Ew. It's like just the straight up, you know. mm. I've never actually seen anybody like radishes. Interesting. No. So that's starting to cook a little bit. We don't want it to overcook. So we don't want it browned. We just want everything not pink. So it's going to take just a moment. It's finally cooking. And when it's not pink anymore, we have to pull the chicken out. Sometimes, the last time I remember seeing them, keep in mind I haven't been in the States in a long time, they were usually like in bags about yay big and just had a couple of them in them. I don't recall ever seeing them loose in the produce section, but I would imagine they're kind of a niche thing. I mean, if you go to grocery stores in different parts of town, you'll see them. And I'm talking about the small radishes that no, they're too sharp. Well, hello, Kason. How are you? They're just too spicy for me. I don't like them. Hold on a sec. We have the Dictionary of Power because I have a pseudo library. I love my little dictionary here. So we want food, I guess would be 16. We got the grocers, food, seafood. It's not a kohlrabi. I never had kohlrabi until I went to Germany either. It's fine. I got a sea radish on here because there it is, radish. I don't know if you can see. It's the little red ones. But yeah, I don't like spicy things. I don't like peppery. I guess peppery is the best way to kind of describe them. But there's a bite to them I don't like. This is almost done. So we don't want it to get um, overdone. It smells really good though. I'll turn the heat down a little bit. I like kohlrabi. Like I said, I'd never had it before, and it kind of reminds me. The best way to describe it, it's kind of like a starchy cucumber in taste and flavor. I don't think I had them cooked. I remember having them raw when I was at work. Some students brought them in, but kohlrabi was nice. That like, I've never learned how to prepare it. Um, we started cooking. I have the chicken broth ready. That's vegetable broth. This chicken is just about done. Again, you don't want it to be browned. You want it to be not pink. Um, don't panic. It's fine. I promise we'll cook it some more in a little bit, but we want to be very careful not to overcook it. But we want to leave all of the olive oil and the seasoning in the bottom here. And little bits are fine. That's fine. Okay, we're going to move that there. And then we're going to add the chicken broth, the mustard, the flour, the lemon juice to the pan. So we've got the broth. Make sure that's all going in. This over here with a little soap in it, so it's easier to clean later. For something that's supposed to be a vegetable broth, it does have an oily residue to it. Okay, so you got the broth. Dijon mustard requires, how much Dijon mustard does it want? Half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. That's 1 teaspoon. I hope everybody's doing okay today. We've had some really, another 1 teaspoon. We've had some really real weather. So you can't decide what it wants to be. Half tablespoon, for goodness sake. Here, half teaspoon. I've liked it when I had it raw. Um, but in small amounts. I don't know if I would like it in large amounts. So we've got our chicken broth in. We're going to add our Dijon mustard, which we said was half a teaspoon. I like this kind. It's got it looks like it's got grit to it, but it doesn't. It's actually pretty smooth, and it's not overly sharp. And I'm going to put that much in. So that part is done. Flour. How much flour did we need? 1 teaspoon of flour. And this is just to kind of help it thicken up a little bit. So it can be your cheap flour. And again, don't pack your flour, right? And with lemon juice, 1 teaspoon lemon juice. Yeah, it's been windy. It's been really, really windy here. Like it's been rattling my windows day and night. It's kind of aggravating. And um, 1 teaspoon. Of course, then that lovely British humidity, because yeah. We're going to use a whisk because the flour, once it gets in the liquid, gets a little clumpy, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna kind of whisk the flour in and make sure it's all mixed up really good. No clumps of flour. It's also getting all the what's left of the olive oil and the seasoning all stirred up. And we'll let that cook for a moment. as we do. I'm going to start heating up the water for the pasta because that's going to start to need to go be boiling before we can start cooking. It's all good though, right? Right? This meal actually will cook pretty quick. This is probably going to be one of my fastest cooking streams because this is going to go really fast. Next cooking stream will be very close to my son's birthday, and he has requested homemade brownies, which I have never done. So that will probably take a little longer because I've got a double boiler and all that stuff, and which I've not done. So we will hopefully it will come out edible, unlike my last attempt at cookies. It will be brownies. I think I have found a good recipe for roll-out cookies to make the another attempt at making dune cookies. So those are still on the agenda for cooking. And I still have the Dune cookies, the Dune cookbook, brownies, and I have these D&D cookbooks that make some really hearty, like inn food, tavern food that I keep wanting to try. So I need to start looking at a grocery list to start putting those things together because it might take a little while, but we can sit and chat, right? Right. Um, so that is set for a moment. We're going to add the sun-dried tomatoes and the cream. Like I said, my son doesn't care for the sun-dried tomatoes, but I do. So I'm just going to put a couple in. If you like sun-dried tomatoes, put more in. Do you know if you use the ones packed in oil, be careful about the oil content because it can make it a little oily. I've had gallstones, so another reason for me to kind of go light on them. For those of you who have no wrist grip, just pop the seal and voila, it opens. I'll tap that oil off. When I first made this, first couple of times, I put in way too many tomatoes because I love them, and then they are so concentrated that I had regrets. I had a lot of regret after eating all of these essentially concentrated tomatoes. For the cream, I'm using this is double cream because heavy cream are defined. This is how big a container is this one? It's 150 milliliters of heavy cream, whipping cream, double cream, however much fat you feel like. One of these days, I'm going to need to get a cookbook of foods that aren't like super fattening. And we're going to pour that in. You make sure your cream is fresh because nothing like opening it up and realize it has started to colonize in your fridge. Been there, done that. And we're going to stir all that in. And we're going to let that simmer, not boil, simmer. Also, if you like tasty fats, I've in the past I've added a little bit of brie to it. They're really nice, but you want to cut the brie up into really small bits so it melts good because otherwise it's going to get kind of clumpy. I'm not sure what double cream is here. I've always went with like just Schlagsahne, the heavier cream that you would whip for whipped cream. It seems to work fine. Seems to work fine. So my water is almost done starting to boil for the pasta. You must have seen how slow my stove can be. Let's put some of these things out of my way while I'm done. Yeah, just whipping cream. Say the magic words, no. But for Halloween, so I have the Necronomicon, which could be fun to do something for Halloweeny, or I have an American themed one that it riffs off of things like box cakes and things like that to do Halloween stuff. But again, it'd just be the two of us, so I don't know. I need to I might put a poll up on the Discord to see which ones we want to make. Um, although the problem is again, some of the stuff might be fun to make, but cost and all that stuff. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Okay, so we've let that simmer. We're gonna put the chicken back in so it will finish cooking. Right? And then we're very careful because I don't want to splash, make a mess. There we go. Get all that scrape back in. I'm gonna stir that in quite well. And we're going to cook for another few minutes to get the chicken cooked all the way through. But again, we don't want to overcook it because the chicken is small, it will cook quite easily, and we don't want it to be tough. When I made the sweet rolls, I had to eat the whole pan by myself. As far as eating a whole cake, I mean, it kind of depends on the cake. But yeah, for Halloween, I mean, I would like to do something spooky themed, even if it's making ghost cookies or something. I would need to get some materials for that, but we'll figure something out, right? We don't get a whole lot of trick or treaters here. Sometimes for his birthday, he wants brownies. Cakes, I would love to try, but again, those take a long time to do a cake because you got to bake it, which takes time, and then you got to let it cool and all that stuff before you can decorate it. So that's many hours of kind of do something and a whole lot of time sitting. So we shall have to see. Okay. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I don't sit down. I'm an idiot. This water is taking freaking forever to heat. It's on high. Because I want to be able to do my dough balls at the same time. It's a process. Yeah, that was very vocal about trust the process. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Only sometimes. So these particular ones need to cook for 10 to 12 minutes. You can use whatever kind you want, but he likes the shells. Why do I have two of them open? I do not know. But now we only have one of them. Yeah. That'll get over there. So I need to set the timer for about 9 minutes. I have my phone, so no one sees my code this time because I'm an idiot. 9 minutes. And how long do these need to cook? About 10 minutes. So let's pop those in. But yeah, especially the holidays coming, it always is to me a time to do like fun baking, like cakes and things like that. But again, it's just another timing. I think a good test of my endurance to be whenever I build that Lego thing, because that's going to take me some hours. So this one says remove film, place tray back. I'm not going to place that tray back in the oven because that's not going to work. 10 to 12 minutes. There we go. That's all doing its thing. Yeah. But so yeah, we got the Necronomicon for Halloween. We also have other things we can make that would require like cookie stuff or whatever. I did find a type of pumpkin cheesecake that I generously received a pan, a torch pan to make. I was gifted to me for my birthday by the king, to make a pumpkin cheesecake. But yeah, I'd like to try and find something fun in the Necronomicon, Namanamicon. That's really hard to say. The Namanamicon. Because I think it'd be fun. I just think it'd be fun. So we shall see. This oven is really hot, and I put the fans away over here because it was getting cooler outside, and now I'm melting over here. But I'm going to turn this down a little bit because we don't want to overcook it. All right. And we want to put the spinach in at the last minute because we don't want it to wilt too much. And again, I'm only up a little bit. That will be for me. My son um, doesn't like things. Yeah, Americans. The only thing Americans don't do with pumpkins is make sweets with it. I know you can do other things with pumpkin because pumpkin and sweet potatoes are quite interchangeable in a lot of ways. But yeah, and the funny thing is I like pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin cheesecake. I like the idea of jack-o'-lanterns, but cutting them up, they smell. It's an experience, and you have to be really careful because you want to do it outside because they're super messy. But then your whole yard will be overtaken by pumpkin. I've never had pumpkin in my coffee, and I've thought about it. One of these days, I will do it, and we're coming up on the time of year that I could probably find someplace and try it. But yeah, pumpkin sweets can be good. They can be, and pumpkin by itself is actually pretty healthy because it's chock full of vitamin A. It's interchangeable in a lot of ways with sweet potatoes, which throw the guts at each other. Ew. Pumpkin spice latte. Someday I will have that, but I've never had a pumpkin spice latte. That's yeah. I have been remiss in my adoration for all things fall. I have a pumpkin candle that I've never lit because we took the lid off of it and it smelled so strong that it's one of those I have to keep the lid on. If I want pumpkin smell, I'll take the lid off, kind of waft the unlit candle around and then put the lid back on it because it is just like it's eye watering. I would imagine there's some allspice in it. That is cooking up nicely. Stir up my pasta a little bit. I'm going to put this back away because we don't need that anymore. I've never had pumpkin soup, but it sounds nice. It's just again making it and getting the ingredients for it. So someday we'll do it. Let me grab this Necronomicon, the Nomonomicon. So let's see here. I have Necronomicon. I have not that one. I need this one. I have a lot of cookbooks down here. And this one. So for the brownies, when we get ready to do the brownies, I'll be doing from this cookbook. It's got a pretty straightforward recipe. Should be fairly simple. The recipe is straightforward. So, question is, can I mess it up? Probably. Um, there's this one that's it's got a lot of use. It's kind of hacky stuff, and a lot of the recipes and things you can't get here because it wants like a particular cake or something like that. But so candy corn cupcakes. So interesting. We got So like this one is donut holes, black gel frosting, and a pound of uh, white chocolate candy coating or almond bark. So essentially, you're making uh, the donut holes with white chocolate on top to make little ghosts. I am Candy corn is disgusting. Candy corn cupcakes, homemade root beer, but it requires a root beer extract, which is actually really hard to get. Um, you've got some eyes, white chocolate Monster Munch, which looks like a Chex Mix with stuff in it. Which cupcakes? Just chocolate cupcakes with green icing and little eggs on top. Candy corn fudge, which actually has no candy corn in it, so that could be a thing. um, Smiley face cookies. The gingerbread cookies with up as skeletons. That could be fun. Dinner in a pumpkin. So this one is a medium pumpkin, olive oil, 2 cups of chopped assorted vegetables such as celery, carrots, onions, green pepper, sweet potatoes, mushrooms, etc. A pound of lean ground turkey, a tablespoon of soy sauce, which is a no can do for me. A can of condensed cream of chicken soup, not a thing here in this country, and 2 cups of prepared brown rice. Then you cut off the pumpkin and clean it out. You put it in the oven. You're gonna saute all the stuff. You're gonna stir it all up. You're gonna stick it in the pumpkin and cook it for an hour. I have mixed feelings about gingerbread. I can handle gingerbread in small amounts. There used to be a place when we lived in the States that had a soft gingerbread type cake that was really good, but it has been ages since I have seen it. Let's move the Necronomicon out of my way because this is just about to be done. And I need a place to put my balls, my dough balls. Yes, they were mummy cookies. Um, how is this looking? Timer. That does not sound familiar to me. Hold on. Set that aside. The dough balls are done. Set that there. Pasta needs a moment more. Calculus, no, does not ring a bell. And then I'm going to turn the heat off this. It's going to take a few minutes. Now, what most people do is they'll put the pasta in the whole thing, do it once, but it does not reheat well that way. So we usually serve put the pasta down and then put the stuff on top. That way, if you have stuff left over, it reheats well. Things with pasta in it don't reheat well; it tends to kind of come apart. And I'm going to put in the little bit of spinach that I want, right? And again, you just kind of throw it in and let it do its thing. Yeah. So let's taste this one. So this one's actually a pretty fast one to make. I think mostly because you cut up the chicken first. Okay. Mm. Clean, shake the noodles a little bit to get rid of the rest of the water. Turn off all of the heat. And this is ready to go. Like, so my son won't eat the spinach or the sun-dried tomatoes, but he will eat his weight in the sauce. So I've never had those. That doesn't sound familiar to me. Oops, don't want any. A little bit of chicken and a whole lot of sauce. Okay. 1 second. You wanna be careful, it's very, very hot. Okay. There you go. Kind of spice for Christmas. Ah, I don't remember those. I remember there's the the ginger nut cookies that I don't like. Ah, well, it's been that kind of day. Mm. Mm. In the palm too. Right in the palm. Yeah, I think I got it. It's more of a startled thing than anything, thankfully. So let me get the spinach that I want because I like the spinach and the sun-dried tomato that I want and some sauce before my kid eats all of it. And I forgot to put pasta in first because I'm stupid. Been that kind of day, I'm telling you. And a little bit of Parmesan on top. That's gonna be a moment. The Parmesan like you get in the States in the green can is really hard to get here. So I got shaved stuff this time, which is fun. A little bit of shaved cheese. Hmm. Nom, nom, nom. It's fine. It stings a little bit, but it'll be fine. Mm. Drop cheese in the floor though. Get that picked up. Hmm. Let me move that out of the way. So, and it's a dough ball. It's maybe the same stuff as pizza dough. Hmm. And it's got garlic butter and parsley on the inside. So been rolled up. Mm, good. Mm. I'm gonna take full off on it though. Um, it depends on the wound. I mean, for open cuts, you probably don't want to. But to be fair, if your mom lives in the same house, she's got the same germs on her and in her that you already have. And yeah, there's a placebo effect to it that a mother's care can bring. Um, but yeah, that's a little stingy, but the dough ball is quite nice. I'm gonna let it cool off for a little before I risk burning the shit out of myself again. Um, because that's ooh. So here's Migo Brain Cylinder. Serves 1 ounce schnapps, buttered, 1 tablespoon of Celtic spirit creamed, which I'm going to guess would be like Bailey's, and 1 drop red ice isotope 101. I have no idea what that would be, but the instructions for this are a bit difficult because it's very technical. It says utilizing a target commodus ferromagnetic cylinder. Use an iron metal cylinder. Fill to half capacity with the schnapps compound base. Pour over the cream Celtic syrup over the reverse of a concave metallic transfer implement. A spoon perhaps to add without haste. So this is where you're going to pour the spoon over the stuff over the back of the spoon into your drink. Finally, initiate gravity-assisted entrance over the isotopic solution with a dropper of ice. Force 1 drop of the red ice into the center of the liquid mass, subject to cryo storage if not administered immediately. So that would be an alcoholic drink that has red drops in it. Make it a little scary. And then we have appetizers, sunken moo, which is parsley, oregano, lemon juice, garlic, minced savagely. Olive oil, water, steak, ruthlessly cubed, tomatoes, salt, black pepper, and kale. Conserve your strength using a blending artifice to combine the parsley, oregano, and lemon juice with the whole clove, half cup oil and water. Consider just bending one of the monkey spawn to the task. Stop when the liquid is green in hue. Seal a majority of this in an amorphous container with the cubed cattle meat. You're going to marinate your cattle meat. Allow the ichor to penetrate the cubes, imbuing them with its essence, and place in the cold for half an hour. Save the unused residue to submerge in the final elements. I love that. It is a bit clunky. The back half of the book has them in more standard English, thankfully. Let's see. The moo cylinder. Pour the schnapps into a tall shot glass and slowly pour the Baileys over the hot of the shot over the back of a teaspoon using an eyedropper. The red ice 101 is cool cinnamon schnapps. So you're going to put, it's going to be butterscotch schnapps, that's hard to say, Baileys, and cinnamon. Sunken moo, sacrificial lamb, New England dammed chowder, pallid bisque. That sounds really complicated. Jumbo. I don't even know. Oh, it's a jambalaya. And I can't even begin to pronounce what they actually call it, but it's a jambalaya. To be fair, um, the the author of the Necronomicon and those guys were friends, so it makes sense that there is some overlap. But there's a sandwich, some Lovecraft macaroni and cheese, figgy pudding, sugar pockets. Here's a dessert: pomegranate tapioca pudding. Yogsicles. Moon beast pies. It's marshmallow moon pies. Bread pudding. So yeah, some of these might be a little complicated. The ring that should not be. Not just any Jello mold, because Jello mold should not be. Pear halves, unflavored gelatin, lime gelatin, cream cheese, citric acid, yellow food coloring, white sugar, green food coloring. This is sounding a little terrifying. 3 ounces of rice noodles, green sparkle gel icing for topping, gold luster dust for topping, silver luster dust for topping, and then you'll need a squeeze bottle and a treacle mold and a ring mold. It sounds horrible, horrible, horrible. That's something that you would make for a themed party when there's a whole bunch of people that you could, disperse it. That is a lot. Um, but so I need to come up with something for Halloween. Like I said, next week, not next week, but in the fortnight, I'll be doing brownies, um, because why not? But okay, so this is not as hot. So if I spill it on myself, I'm not as likely to burn myself. One of my earliest memories was of me burning the fuck out of myself. My mom had a percolator, which aren't common anymore. And a big part of percolator coffee is essentially it's boiled, right? It's boiled, um, and she had put it on the edge of the counter, and like 2-year-old me reached up to get the coffee, and it tipped back on me. That was my first ER visit. Uh, because when my mom tried to take the wet shirt off, it took skin with it. Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of very particular about keeping stuff back away. I mean, my kid's 20, not like or almost 20. It's not like he's gonna tip coffee back on himself, but I've always been very careful with it. Mm, mm-mm. I shoot it really good, really good. Worms can be deep. Mm, mm. Yeah, sheep can be hard to get off, especially if it's got anything in it besides just water. But yeah, I've gotten kind of, like I said, I want to let my stuff sit generally before I get into it because I just don't want to burn the fuck out of myself. I'm funny that way. Mm. I did not put any salt in it because there is a little bit of salt in the chicken broth. You could put a little salt on it, um, but no, I didn't put any in. I didn't. I'm not a big salt adder, and I think it's because my mom and dad, it didn't matter what you made, they immediately covered it in salt and pepper. It didn't matter what you'd already done to it. So I just got in the habit of not putting a whole lot of seasoning in my food. That I'm not a big fan of it myself, but I prefer to let people season to their own taste instead of mine because I like things the way I like them. It's good though. It's got a creamy broth to it, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's got all the seasoning up in it. It's got the spinach. Mm. And this is something my son and I both like when it's cooler, but it's definitely not something I would cook when it's hot because which is fair. I don't mind people adding a little salt to it. It's my mom was a long time smoker, and she was just like, and my dad would do the same with like pepper. And if it was liquid like this, he would cover it in saltine crackers. Didn't matter what you made; it was just that was how it was going to be. Mm. The only thing I would ask to people is taste it before you season it, so you know how much to put in. You know, but I respect people like different things. The That's gonna be what I'm gonna try for my son's birthday. It's a little fudgy. I think from when I think of traditional brownies, brownies are more cakey. Mm. My dad's mom used to make this. We called it divinity fudge. I don't know if it has a different name, but we called it divinity fudge. And in that, it was it was chocolate flavored sugar. Is what that stuff was. She would, if you've ever had fudge, it's really dense, especially compared to like a brownie. It's very very dense. It's not cakey at all. Even if it's got flour in it. But she would cut it into these cubes that would be smaller than my thumb, so less than an inch cubes. And you would eat one, and you just like you can feel your teeth going because it was just chocolate flavored sugar. It was just so much sugar. But then you kept eating them, and it's like, why do my teeth hurt? And you're like, I've had 15 of these cubes of sugar. And she would have it for us when we came up for the holidays. She'd like to make that for us. She'd always put it. She would do it in a deep freeze, and that way when we got this, she just pull it out and let it thaw, and we'd have this divinity fudge. Deep freezers are definitely a thing in the American rural areas because you would have, you don't go to the grocery store. Where she lived, there was a grocery store in town, but it was so freaking expensive because you were 60 miles from the next town. So the groceries they would just charge you whatever. And so if you wanted to go, and that was the next town, if you want to go to like an actual city, it's like 2 hours. So you would have these. It was very common to have deep freezers, so you would have to make so many trips back. And of course, half our deep freeze was full of commodity cheese. Oh, I can't stand commodity cheese. You could probably change it up. You probably could definitely change it up. I mean, it's a very versatile recipe, I think, and this is a it's a good recipe for people who don't know how to cook because it's pretty straightforward. There's no fancy technique to it or anything like that. The ingredients aren't stupidly expensive. You could do it without the tomato. You could do it without the spinach. Um, but yeah, it's on saltandlavender.com where I found this one. Um, the seasonings pretty much. I mean, once you figure out what you like, you don't even have to measure them anymore. It's one of the how whatever feels good to you at the time. Yeah. So this has like the regular brownies. It's got bakewell slices, which are a little more. They have a fruit in them. There's carrot cake. I'm on the fence about carrot cake. I've had good for carrot cake, but more often meh to bad carrot cake is more common. So I'm a little chocolate tiffin. I have no idea what that is. It says a favorite of children. I have no idea. But it said digestive biscuits or graham crackers. It's sultanas. Mhm. Pecans, candied cherries, uh, darker bittersweet chocolate, in big chunks. And then there's some chopped up, and then there's golden syrup or light corn syrup, depending on where you are, and butter. There's nothing in this book that's healthy. There's nothing in this book to be. That's not going to be healthy at all. This is a very English book because they have flapjacks, which are an abomination to what I think of as a flapjack. Flapjacks are like here they're more types of oats and a sweetener kind of rolled together. Millionaire shortbread that actually looks pretty good, but it'd be really sweet. Healthy is a suggestion. Healthy is not for what's in any of these things. lavender shortbread. That could be really nice. I like a good shortbread. Parkin pieces. I have no idea what that is. Coffee blondes. Ooh, those do look good. Not healthy though, but they look good. Um, Pecans, light brown sugar, butter, instant coffee granules, boiling water, eggs, flour, baking powder, salt, dark chocolate, and then the cream topping is heavy cream, confectioner sugars, mixed chocolate shavings, and chocolate coated coffee beans. It'd be quite nice. My son will eat it, but I would. Lemon squares, white chocolate, and blueberry blondies. That could be nice. Almond and apricot brownies. Now we're looking at food that's trying to be healthy. Here's all the sugar and a little bit of fiber. Banana and nutmeg custard brownies. I'm not a fan of banana. Chocolate, ginger, and orange slices. I don't like ginger. Cherry marzipan streusel squares. Oh, well, thank you. It's very kind. Summer fruit slices. Those look really nice. Um, Nectarine and blueberry tray bake with lavender sugar. That sounds like complicated and very frou-frou. Spiced pear cake sounds nice. Berry cheesecake brownies. Oh, those do look nice though. Chocolate fudge raspberry shortbread bars. Sounds like a little bit of work, but shortbread's actually really easy to make. Chocolate brownies, coconut, apricot, and lime slices. And then here's stuff with nuts in it. Chocolate and hazelnut brownies. I do like a good hazelnut. Macadamia and white chocolate blondies. Hold on. Which one did I show? Chocolate hazelnut brownies. That one? Those look really good. Or the chocolate fudge raspberry. Or the berry brownies. Those look good. Those are uh, chocolate, butter, eggs, castor sugar, rice flour, almonds. And then there's the cheesecake, which is cream cheese. That kind of cream cheese is actually really hard to get here. It's not the kind that comes in a tub that you put on bagels. Baking cream cheese has got a little bit different consistency. Um, Castor sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, and mixed fresh berries. Sounds really good. Then let's see. Bonjour brownies, which are chocolate, of course, butter, generous half cup of castor sugar, 2 eggs, milk, all-purpose flour, almonds, baking powder, vanilla pod, macadamia nuts, and walnuts. And I've got it served up with espresso, which would be something to cut the sweet. Pumpkin spice is nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and allspice. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. Cinnamon pecan blondies, pistachio brownies. No, I like pistachio. Extra nutty brownies, double white chocolate pecan blonde. I like pecans, but I don't like pistachios. I don't like peanuts. Hazelnut praline brownies. See, that looks like work though, because they're pralines, and that's a lot. Honey toasted pine nut and pumpkin seed flapjacks with chocolate topping. Now we're getting complicated. That's very frou-frou. Healthier. Apricot flaxseed bars, because everyone wants apricot and flaxseed. Ginger cashew granola bars, carrot oat squares. Don't these sound yummy? Um, Muesli bars. I do like muesli, but I'm kind of weird. I eat mine like cereal. I know there's supposed to be this whole thing with muesli, but I like mine with like this with cold milk. Apple fig and nut bars, coconut and pumpkin power bars. Don't like coconut. Sour sticky brownies. That could be good. And little kids and big kids, peanut butter and jelly brownies. Ew, no jelly. Peanut butter's all right. Malted milk, chocolate brown, tray bake. I don't like malted. So what, marshmallow brownies? So when you have the grandkids over and you need to sugar them up before sending them off to someone else's house, sugar with extra sugar. Cream cheese icing is good. It is good. Rocky Road pumpkin popcorn slice, fudge crumble brownies, crackling brownie French fries. Essentially, it's sticks of brownie. Brownie whoopie pies, which it looks like moon pies. Sugar bombs is what these are. Sugar bombs. Millionaire Jacks. There's it's they call brookies. It's brownies with cookies because if you have a sleepover and you're gonna send the kids back, brownie pops. And then they've got some blondies, some black forest brownies. And these are dark chocolate, butter, heavy cream, eggs, castor sugar, kirsch or kirsch syrup, flour, more chocolate, the actual black cherries, sugar, and whipped cream to serve. Now, in Germany, this would not be a thing because it doesn't have alcohol in it, and they're very particular about the licorice. But that actually sounds really good because black cherries and chocolate are the bomb, and they go really nice together. Butterscotch blondies, caramel swirl brownies, sugar and spice brownies, espresso brownies. So then they need sugar and caffeine. Blondie and brownie mix, choc rum brownies. So that is darker bittersweet chocolate, butter, confectioner sugar, eggs, dark rum, flour, more bittersweet chocolate, and walnuts. And then there's a sauce on top that's heavy cream, more dark chocolate, vanilla extract, and ice cream. Because I don't have any cookbooks that aren't going to kill you. The Supreme brownie, if you ever had Supreme type brownies, they're quite nice. It's got Bailey's in it. Chili pecan brownies. I've heard some people insist that seasonings like chili go nice with chocolate. I don't know. I don't like chili. Bacon, maple, and pecan brownies. Mm. Bacon and maple and pecan together go quite nice. I don't know how well those would go into a brownie. Moonies, that's brownies with mousse. So yeah, love heart brownies. We have options. We have options. I don't even go to the grocery store, so um, I can relate. I haven't seen the kind of it comes like in a brick that you have to unwrap. Um, I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it in years. To be honest, I would. I wonder if you could find a picture of it online. The Philadelphia cream cheese. The urge to run away and live in a hobbit house is strong. Mm. Oh, I totally respect that. Oh, mm. So I cook became so I cooked. I don't know what that is in Latin. I have no idea what the Latin verb is for to cook. Quick, someone with Google. Down here where no one can see my password. I can be a bit feral. I can be a bit feral. Uh, so in Latin, it would be veni vidi cribit would be I came as I cooked. I didn't say cooled. So veni vidi coxy. I came as I cooked. Nothing wrong with being a little more social. She says that she doesn't leave her house. I remind me, and I'll see if I can't find the picture for it if Kason doesn't get to it before I do. Um, it just tends to be a little bit firmer and that's than what you would make a regular like the spreading cheesecake stuff is the spreading cream cheese. I need to know. Oh, this is the book that's got that cheesecake in it that I want to make. The pumpkin cheesecake. Everything is wrong with being social. I know. I'm gonna bite somebody one of these days, and not in a happy, fun way. Um, cheesecake, pumpkin spice cheesecake, 2017. So this one is the cheesecake that I want to make. It's a box of spice cake. It is 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese softened. And that's going to be the hard part to find. And eggs, a can of pumpkin, sweetened condensed milk, and 4 teaspoons of pumpkin spice mix. Pumpkin pie spice. Oh, you have no idea. But I mean, it looks really good. So I just need to see if I can find all the ingredients. I've got the cake pan. I just need to find the rest of it. That will be that will be the hard part. But yeah, so in 2 weeks we'll be brownies and then we'll see what's ever after. The idea ideally is this week for the podcast. I won't be doing a podcast. I will be building the ornithopter Lego, and that will be testing my endurance because I don't know how long it'll take. Average time on Google says 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to guess it's going to be closer to 5 or 6 for me because it's been a long time since I've built big Lego. I mean, my son used to get the Lego advent calendars, and we get the little ones, which have their own challenges. But those have like 10 pieces, not however many pieces they have. Um, so, and also have a food break, and I'll probably order pizza or something. My son likes pizza. The hard part about I would like to get it all done in one stretch, just for giggles, but so I will have to get up and move around. I won't be able to sit through the whole thing, but I don't want to lose pieces in the building of it because if you're building a big one and have to pause, especially since I don't have a dedicated spot I can build on, I'm gonna have to do it on my desk, which I will need. So I can't leave. My desk isn't big enough to leave a 2 foot Lego frame sitting on it because I think the lengthwise it's about 2 feet long. On the stream talking, trying to get the view always right. I'm sure that'll it, and that's something that I'm going to do this week. Is I'm going to have to use the laptop because my camera on my machine is got a very narrow field of view, and I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get it aimed at the desk and all that stuff. So I have an idea, so we will have to give it a test. But using this mic and all that stuff. So we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Plus a whole lot of building. So I lost my water bears. Mm. Mm. But the talking will add time, and the swearing will add time. Mm. Mhm. Mm. 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 Mhm. Mm. Mhm. 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 The language, Reeker. Excuse me. Got this jug on my bread. But yes, if you haven't seen the clip, it's Miss Piggy and Beaker versus Kermit and Pepe in a rap battle. And Pepe goes in, it's a rap battle, and Kermit's trying to be nice. And Miss Piggy says things about, throwing Pepe into a pot to cook him because he's king prawn. And then Beaker, we had to stop the proceedings because they're like, language. Yeah, I'd rather not choke to death on a piece of bread. That would not be a good way to go. So, mm, well, let's not do that. He said some word. He did. He said some words. He just let loose, and there's everybody in the crowd just recoiled. Hmm. Okay, so we're coming up on an hour and a half. I'm melting because I'm sitting in front of this hot oven. But that is Tuscan chicken. It's pretty straightforward, and as Chris said, it is adaptable for people who are stronger cooks. You can start substituting things or adding things. The recipe is all on saltandlavender.com. Just look for Tuscan chicken. And I don't know what you're talking about. I've wondered what I can do for cooking. I have no idea what kind of merch I can do for a cooking stream. Chris, that was bad. It was really bad. Everybody's sitting back going, yeah. Oh, mm. I think it's all the self promotion I can do right now. Because talk about next cooking stream. We talked about the hopefully the stream on Saturday, depending on it might start a little earlier because it could go late. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet the timing of that, or it might start at its usual time and let it run. I don't know. And again, stop for food in the middle because y'all get to watch me eat anyway. And then hopefully the podcast will return the following Saturday with continuing on with the Assassin's Handbook, which is some fun stuff. It's a little creepy, but we've seen Joel roll out the creepy stuff, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's all fine, right? Right. Okay, so um, I guess now's the time to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for showing up. toe shoes. My son was like, he saw the stuff from the DLC. He's like, "That's what we get from making fun of Joel's toe shoes." That was his revenge for all the toe shoes. um, no, 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 it's fine. Life happens. It's okay. You can always catch it on the VOD on YouTube, right? Or on Twitter, Twitch, whatever that one is, whatever floats your boat. But I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm really hot and I don't want to fall over. I will catch everybody soon, hopefully on Saturday. Of course, my Discord, exclamation point Discord, is a good place to catch me. You guys all know this. And yeah, it's not even pink now. It's all good. It's all good. It's all pasty like the rest of me. It's my own damn fault for not paying better attention. And I will catch everybody later. Have a good evening, and I will see everybody probably in the Discord soon. So, bye bye. I gotta give Kason time to drop all the links. I guess he's very busy. I don't have any social stuff. I don't do. I'm not on Twitter or that often. I go in and promote stuff, but it's kind of a cesspool. The best way to find me really is the Discord. Best way to find me. So I will catch everyone later. Let me find some music. I got I got one song that's not Dune, and the rest of them are Dune. So y'all gonna get Dune music because why not, right? Because I like Dune music. And where is it? Because Dune is good, and we like Dune. And here we go. And I'll catch everybody later. Bye bye. I can find the button.